Hello everyone. We are going to discuss about the stop and wait protocol. It is a connection oriented protocol and it provides both error control and flow control. The stop and wait protocol that we are going to discuss in the transport layer is similar to the stop and wait protocol that we had discussed in the data link layer. As the name itself indicates, in the stop and wait protocol, the sender sends a packet to the receiver and waits for some event to occur before it takes up the next action. When a request is received from the application layer, the message from the application layer is transformed into the packets and it is sent through the channel to the receiver. Now that the packet is sent over the channel, the sender is in the block state waiting for some event to occur. That is, it waits for the acknowledgement to be received from the receiver. The packet consists of three parts, that is the sequence number, checksum, and the message that is received from the application layer. The sequence number is used to prevent the duplicate packets to be received at the receiver side, whereas the checksum is used for the error control. When the receiver receives a packet, it checks for both the sequence number and the checksum. The sequence number should be matching with the expected sequence number at the receiver side, and the checksum, if it is correct, then it means that the packet is corruption free. When the packet is error free, the message is then delivered to the application layer at the receiver side and an acknowledgement is sent to the sender. The acknowledgement also consists of two parts, that is nothing but one part is the acknowledgement number and second one is the checksum. Acknowledgement number always announces the number of the sequence number of the next packet to be received at the receiver, and checksum is used for the error control. The acknowledgement number, for example, if a packet 0 was sent earlier and it was received sound and safe at the receiver side, the acknowledgement number will be equal to 1. That means the receiver is expecting packet 1 next. And here we use the concept of sliding windows. The sliding windows is nothing but they indicate the status of the sequence number and the acknowledgement numbers. Now we can discuss about the sequence number and acknowledgement number in detail. The sequence numbers. As we know, sequence numbers are used to prevent the duplicate packets to be received at the receiver side. In the communication or transmission, it may so happen that when the packet sent from the sender is reached sound and safe, the acknowledgement is sent from the receiver. It may so happen that the acknowledgement may also get lost. So that the sender thinks that the packet was not reached properly and it resends the packet. This packet will become the duplicate packet. To prevent such problem, we use the sequence numbers. Here we have that the packet sent from the center has a field added to the packet header to hold the sequence number. That is, we have seen that in the packet there is a field allocated for the sequence number. Now, when a sender sends a packet with number X, three events may occur. First event is that packet reaches sound and safe, and acknowledgement is also arrived safely within the time. Then the sender will send the next packet numbered X plus 1 to the receiver. Second event is that packet may be corrupted or lost. So the sender does not send any acknowledgement or any signal to the receiver. So if there was no strategy, then the sender will be waiting continuously and the communication is disturbed. To avoid that, we use the timer concept. Here when the packet is sent to the receiver, the packet is sent to the receiver, the sender also sets a timer. Once the timer is started, the acknowledgement has to be reached within the timer. If the acknowledgement is not received, then the timeout occurs. The packet with the same number X is will be sent again. To facilitate this, to facilitate the resending, we should also take care that the sender keeps a copy of the packet X that it is being sent. And the third event is that packet reaches sound and safe at the receiver. Acknowledgement sent from the receiver is corrupted or lost. So, when the acknowledgement is corrupted or lost, when the acknowledgement is lost, the sender thinks that the uh, receiver did not receive the packet correctly. Yeah, and if the acknowledgement was corrupted, the sender discards the acknowledgement. So, after the timeout occurs, the copy of the packet X is sent again. The receiver recognizes it as a duplicate packet. And the acknowledgement is sent again to the sender. Here, from the three cases, we can see that there is a need for only two sequence numbers, x and x plus 1. There is no need of x plus 2. So, if we set x equal to 0, then x plus 1 will be equal to 1. So, the sequence will be 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1. Actually, it is x plus 1 modulo 2. So, this is known as a modulo 2 arithmetic. The acknowledgement numbers. These are also used to maintain synchronization in the communication. Uh, the acknowledgement number always announces the sequence number of the next packet that is expected by the receiver. That is, if a packet 0 is received, an acknowledgement with the acknowledgement number equal to 1 is sent, and if a packet 1 is received, an acknowledgement with acknowledgement number 0 is sent to the sender. Now, let us talk about the finite state machine of the stop and wait protocol. That is the FSM of the stop and wait protocol. The FSM at the sender is shown in this figure. Here, at the start of the process, the sender goes into the ready state. The sender waits for the request from the application layer. That is the event that makes it to jump from ready state to the blocking state. When there is a request from the application layer, the sender that is the transport layer at the sender makes a packet with S as the sequence number, saves a copy of it to facilitate the resending, and sends it through the channel. At the same time, a timer is started. Now, when the sender is in the blocking state, there may be three possibilities: that the timeout may occur, or the corrupted acknowledgement may be received, or error-free acknowledgement may be received. Timeout occurs when there is no acknowledgement received from the receiver. Then, once the timeout is occurred, the sender resends the packet and resets the timer, and again goes back into the blocking state. Whereas when the corrupted acknowledgement is received, or the acknowledgement of which is received is not related to the only outstanding packet, maybe there may be a mismatch in the sequence numbers and the acknowledgement number, then the sender just discards the acknowledgement and goes back into the blocking state again. Now, when the error-free acknowledgement with acknowledgement number equal to S plus 1, that is here the sequence number is S, the sender is expecting acknowledgement with acknowledgement number equal to s plus 1. When this is occurred, then the send window is slided to the right from s to s plus 1 modulo 2. That is, when s equal to 0, it will become 1 and vice versa. Now the sender has to stop the timer and goes back into the ready state. In the ready state, it will be waiting for the next request from the application layer. This is the FSM at the sender in the stop and wait protocol. Now FSM at the receiver. The receiver at the receiver in the stop and wait protocol is always in the ready state. That is, when the process starts, it goes into ready state, waiting for the reception of the packet from the sender. Now, there may be three possibilities. One is that the corrupted packet may be arrived, or error-free packet may be arrived, but the sequence number is not matching with the expected sequence number. And the third possibility is error-free packet may be arrived with the matching sequence number. When the corrupted packet is arrived, the uh, the receiver just discards the packet and sends nothing. That is, it does not send any signal to the receiver. So sorry, to the sender, so that the sender understands that the corrupted packet was transmitted. Corrupted packet was received at the receiver. When the error-free packet is received, but the sequence number is not equal to R. For example, as in the case of the duplicate packets, then the sequence number does not match. Then the uh, the receiver just discards the packet and sends the acknowledgement again with the acknowledgement number equal to R. That means that it is expecting the packet of sequence number R in the next. When the error-free packet with sequence number equal to R is received, means the packet is corruption free as well as the sequence number is matching, then the message is delivered to the application layer. The slide window at the receiver side is slided to the right from R to R plus 1 modulo 2. That is, from if it is at 0, that will be becoming 1 and vice versa. Now we have to send the acknowledgement with acknowledgement equal to R. The R is now the updated value. That is, not this value of R. This value R is replaced with this R plus 1. Now this R plus 1 will be sent as the acknowledgement number, and it goes back again to the ready state. Coming to the flow diagrams of the stop and wait protocol, there is a sender transport layer and the receiver transport layer. These show the logical connections, and this is a logical transmission which is not actually present, but uh, we can assume that the packet is moving from the transport layer of the sender to the transport layer of the receiver. Uh, the black dots here indicate the timer start or restart, and the uh, black circles and the completely white circles represent the timer stop. At the beginning, when there is a request from the application layer, we assume that the sequence number is 0 for our convenience. Sequence number is 0, then the packet is formed and it is sent through the channel to the receiver. When the receiver receives this packet, the acknowledgement number R will be equal to 1. First it will be 0, then it slides to then the slide window slides to the right and makes it as R equal to 1. Now this acknowledgement number R equal to 1 is sent along with the acknowledgement to the sender. When the sender receives the correct acknowledgement, the sliding window at the sender side is slided to the right, and the sequence number is updated to 1. Now in this state, when the next request is received from the application layer of the sender, then the packet is formed. Again the packet is sent through the channel. Here we have taken that the packet with the sequence number equal to 1 is lost. In that case, the packet will the sender will be waiting for the acknowledgement to be received. When the packet is lost, there is no acknowledgement from the receiver. Hence, the timeout occurs here. When the timeout occurs, there is no sliding taking place in the sliding window of the sender. So the sequence number will be equal to 1 again. This sequence number 1 is transmitted along with the packet. So the packet sequence number will be equal to 1. So this packet is nothing but the copy of the previous packet that was sent. So this is the resending process. When the receiver receives the correct packet, it again slides the window to the right, and R value now becomes, from 1 it becomes 0. Now this acknowledgement 0 is transmitted to the sender. Now the sender stops its timer and the sequence number is updated to 0. On the next request from the application layer, the sequence number does not change. S equal to 0 remains as it is. Now the packet is formed. Packet 0 is transmitted along the channel, and the receiver receives the correct packet. Then the R value is updated to 1. Now the acknowledgement 1 is transmitted through the channel to the sender, but it happens that acknowledgement 1 may be lost. So the sender thinks that the packet 0 was not reached properly to the receiver. So it again resends the packet 0. Now this packet 0 is again reached to the receiver, and this packet is nothing but a duplicate of the previous packet. Hence this packet is discarded at the receiver side, and R value is not updated. R value remains as it is, R equal to 1. Again the acknowledgement with R equal to 1 is sent to the sender, where on reception of the correct acknowledgement, the timer is stopped and the sequence number is updated to 1. This flow diagram explains the 3 cases that may happen when a packet is sent from a sender transport layer to the receiver transport layer. So this is about the stop and wait protocol. Now we shall discuss about the efficiency of the stop and wait protocol. We can see that only one packet is sent at a time. Hence this protocol is very inefficient if the channel is thick and long. By thick we mean that it has a larger bandwidth or a high data rate, and by long meaning longer round trip delay. Means when there is a large bandwidth located to the channel and the channel is left idle for more amount of time, then there is a wastage of the bandwidth for that much amount of time. This reduces the efficiency of the stop and wait protocol. Next, the product of this uh, bandwidth and the round trip delay is called as bandwidth delay product. This bandwidth delay product is a measure of number of bits a sender can transmit through the system while waiting for an acknowledgement from the receiver. In our case, in the stop and wait protocol, the sender cannot transmit through the system while waiting for the acknowledgement from the receiver. Hence, efficiency is less, and bandwidth delay product is also lesser. To overcome this problem of inefficiency, we go for go back and protocol, which will be discussed later. Thank you.